All right, so welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin,
I'm Tarsha.
and this is, of course, Conversations with the Crawleys, where we have conversations about faith, family, relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, and commentary on some of our favorite shows. This is all about the new season of Married at First Sight, season 15 in San Diego.
Yep.
So if this is your first time, of course, you listen, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, request notifications, and share. I took that from you.
Oh, you did.
I did.
It's
I helped
okay.
you out. All right.
My niece somehow.
And if you're part of the KT squad, welcome back for a new season of Married at First Sight. All right. So we have had the matchmaking special. We already did. In fact, the video for that is up in the corner here. But now we're starting to get to where we're getting ready for the wedding, basically.
Right. They're letting their families know
Yep.
and friends know that they were selected, or surprising them that they were a part
Yeah.
of this wonderful experiment.
Right. Something that they've been going through for at least a couple of months as far as the
Right.
process.
And doing it by themselves.
And some family members are like, wait, what? So Lindy is the first one that we interact with or have conversation that shows up. Lindsay is telling Lindy, I keep want to call her Lindsay, but Lindy is telling her friends
Wrong season.
she is described as the adventurous overthinker.
Right.
She's the one, she grew up sheltered.
She was 7-day Adventist, her parents, and she lived a very sheltered life because of that. And her parents, she is a physical therapist,
Yep.
and she's adventurous. But because of her upbringing, that's why she overthinks about what her past beliefs, or I'm assuming past beliefs are, and what she should do now that she's on her own.
Right.
So, she she meets her friends to tell them that she is getting married at first sight.
And they're pretty supportive of her.
Right.
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 She says that she picks men that are emotionally unavailable.
Correct.
So,
And she's over emotional,
yes.
is what her friends indicated.
Yes.
So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah. Because she stresses she wants a real man. Now, the question I have is, what does that mean to her? Right?
Correct.
Because you can say you want a real this or a real that, or you want what does that mean to you? Because then the question is, for her match, does he hit the buttons for her as far as what she's expecting of what she defines as a real man?
Right. Or understanding what she needs, right? Because it seems like she still don't have a clear understanding of what she believed or how she was raised, and where her values lie.
True.
Because that's the important thing. You have to understand where your values lie as you become an adult to determine where you want to go forward and how you want to move forward. Yeah. But it's interesting to watch.
Then Miguel, who is the match for Lindy, he comes in dressed in cosplay, ready for Dungeons and Dragons.
Right. I'm assuming he's a bear. When he tells his friends that that he is also getting married at first sight. So his friends are mixed in opinion about that. They said he doesn't know how to avoid, or he avoids red flags.
Right. He sees red flags as like, I can move past that.
Right.
I can get past that.
Right.
For example, they said that he finds texts on the phone and gives a second chance, finds more texts, gives a third chance, finds more texts, gives a fourth chance. So, yeah, those red flags, there's a difference between forgiveness and ignoring red flags.
Right. You need to face them, obviously, have a good conversation. If the person's not in you, you need to let them go.
Yeah.
Again, you're dating.
Yes.
You're not in a committed.
And one of his friends also says that he forces relationships that may not be the best fit.
Right. So we'll see how this goes. We find out that his mom left him at a young age, and his dad raised him in Puerto Rico. So they were in the U.S. and then got moved back to, U.S.
It's a commonwealth. So,
it's territory. But they weren't within the States.
Right.
And he moved to Puerto Rico.
And he is described as how Married at First Sight, they give these nicknames to all of the participants.
Right.
He's the starry-eyed scribe.
Right.
So, And he has a PhD as well.
Correct.
And is now, but he now is like a medical writer.
He's a medical writer, right?
And for him, marriage is the end game. And the expert says that they match them primarily because they both want a partner with high emotional maturity and commitment. So,
right. So, obviously, there's always something to work through.
We'll see.
You can't get everything you want.
All right. So then Alexis and Justin. So yes. Justin is the 6'8", as the experts put, or the show puts him, towering teddy bear.
Yeah. Well, I guess these are these descriptions of what they're trying to portray him as they go along in the show. You know, he was raised by his brother up to the age of 19, and he was engaged.
Yes.
But
she basically left him a month before the wedding.
Right.
Because basically he was like, she wanted a sugar daddy. She wanted somebody, maybe not a sugar daddy, but she wanted somebody that was more financially stable or set at an early age than he was, right?
Right.
He was basically saying that she wanted someone that was financially stable, like a 55-year-old instead of a 25 or 30-year-old.
Right.
Right.
Right. And he indicates that she didn't even give him a chance.
Right.
To be able to make that money. I was like, then I understand how you date. Then her whole dating method was wrong.
It was messed up. Yeah. I mean, these are things that before you get to the point where you're saying yes, because he asked and she said yes, evidently, right?
Evidently.
Or someone asked and someone said yes, right?
Right.
So at some point, these are things that you find out and figure out before a yes is given.
Right.
Or before an ask is done.
Right. Like, wait till they got engaged and then he shared how much he made for a living. I don't know. But interesting, though. It took him a while to get over it.
Yeah. He moved from that city or state where he was at.
Right. And he also became abstinent. I can never say
celibate.
Celibate.
Yes.
He became celibate. For the last 5 years.
Practicing semen retention.
Semen retention. Hey.
That's the new phrase.
That's the new phrase.
So he tells his brother and his brother and his sister-in-law, right?
Right.
And the brother's like, no. Why are you in a hurry? I don't think this is weird. This is strange. Nope.
Why are you gonna do it this way? You don't know her. She can hurt you. You know what happened last time. I get the concern.
Right.
And you're talking about, in a sense, losing your brother because now
the relationship changes.
The relationship does change, right? So, but it seemed like because they didn't know anything.
Right.
Right? And then at the last minute, you want to spring something on somebody. That's another thing. I feel like maybe if he told them he was going through the process,
right,
some of those questions or nerves or concerns, you know, he could have been talking to them how he had to take so many tests. He had to have so many interviews and home interviews that they just don't randomly pick.
Right. And it's because if you've never watched the show, right, it sounds weird. But when you understand, when you at least
from a Western perspective, right?
Very true.
Because there are other countries where family, without any type of science or doctors, pick for their children.
Right.
So for Westerners.
But I mean, what I also mean is that if you're not familiar with the show and the process that they go through, yes, from a Western standpoint, it sounds weird, and so therefore, if he'd at least given a sense, like you said, of these are the things I'm going through, then, like I think some of the other people took it as far as when they were told, it's like, okay, it's understood that these are the things that you've been going through, and now you've been selected for this,
right?
Because it kind of came off. The brother kind of came off like this is the first time I'm ever hearing of it, and so the brother's natural assumption is you just randomly have a woman that you've never seen that you're getting married to,
like you picked her out of Facebook,
not even out of Facebook. You just threw a dart up against the wall and said, "That's my new wife."
Right? You're like, oh no, not my brother. You ain't going down like this.
All right, so then Justin is matched with Alexis, and Alexis is described as the passionate powerhouse. And so when we see her, she's playing football with her male friends.
Right.
And she says her male friends are very protective of her.
Right.
So she's kind of concerned of how that might play out as far as her friends and
Right.
how they'll interact with her spouse, right?
Right, because she's the youngest of three girls.
Right.
And so she didn't talk much about her mom or her dad.
Well, she did say that her parents, the view that she had of her parents' divorce was that it was bad,
that's
and
true.
that
That's right.
they stayed together simply because of the kids, and that essentially once once
turned
Alexis turned 18,
18.
it was like, all right, we got y'all out the house. We leaving each other. We ain't dealing with each other anymore. There's nothing keeping us together, is what they were saying.
Right. And I think she says, and she was glad. It was like, finally.
She's like, y'all finally realized what we realized all these years growing up.
I was just like, wow, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And they were concerned about her delivery and the way she does say things.
Yes.
So we'll see how that goes along, because again, as you adjust to someone new and they adjust to you, you have to realize what you're saying could potentially hurt your spouse's feelings.
And again, with Alexis, she's the one that has been engaged, or she's never been engaged, but she's been proposed to 3 times.
Right.
And she talks about how her view of marriage and her view of where things needed to be was skewed, and so that's why she did not go forward with those other ones, but she's ready now.
Right. And that would make sense if you see someone who's in a marriage that's been toxic for years, and then you're putting a perspective of what a wife should be.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. All right, and then Kristen and Mitch. Kristen is matched with Mitch, and so she's meeting her friends, and she is described as daring and devoted. She was also engaged. Now, she was engaged.
Right.
But then her fiance cheated.
Correct. 6 months before the wedding.
Yeah, and it was a destination wedding, so she was like,
I'm gonna spend my life savings for the man of my dreams.
I'm going on this trip with my friends.
And they party, they have a good time.
Yep.
And that's a good way to get over your grief, right? You can change a bad situation into a good situation. She is the oldest of 3 girls.
Yep.
And her parents were divorced. So again, we haven't seen the fairy tale, kind of parenting and child relationship. So we'll see as this goes on, because she is sharing this with her friends and her mom.
Yes. And there's some apprehension because she's telling her dad like the day of the wedding.
Right. And
or
they're
the
like,
day before the wedding, I should say.
No. The day of the wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She's like telling her friends, she was like, so my mom knows and my dad, I'm going to wait until the day of the wedding. And they were like, whoa. So how is he supposed to get their dress? Well, I told him to show up in something fancy. I was like, don't you want to color coordinate? I'm like, and she says, I'm a daddy's girl. So if you're a daddy's girl, wouldn't he known when she started this process?
Right.
So if you're afraid of letting someone down, thinking they're going to do something or forcing them to do something on the day of, I don't know how that works.
No, that doesn't make sense to me. That makes absolutely no sense to me.
So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Dun. Some of these people don't have to even play to a script. They got
create their own drama.
They create their own drama.
And then she is matched with Mitch. And Mitch is the 41-year-old, what they say as rebel with a cause. Because he's very much into the environment.
Right.
Very much into protecting the oceans. Right. Cutting out plastics, things of that nature. Right. And so he acknowledges and then says basically he was so focused on those things that he did not focus on relationships.
Right. So, and we mentioned him before, so check out our previous episode. But we'll see, as he's talking to his brother and sister-in-law and his mom, because they're a very big part of his life.
Right. And
he shares with them about him getting married.
Yep.
And their concern is more about, him just not continue to participate if he doesn't like the way things are going.
Right.
And his brother was asking him, like, okay, what if she doesn't feel strongly about the same things you feel strongly about?
Right.
How are you going to be able to adjust?
If she's a plastic cup drinking, paper plate or plastic plate eating, plastic fork plastic straws.
Dishwasher user. Yeah. You know, like, again, check out our previous episode to learn more about that.
Yes. That he has commitment issues. So
right.
And he admits that he can be ridiculous about plastic. So that's going to be a big issue. Big issue. Then we have Morgan and Ben. BINH. And Morgan is described as strong and independent, and her friends pretty much are like, yeah, she is. She's strong. She's independent.
Right.
She's doing Muay Thai.
Right. Right. So. Yeah, she likes to play video games, and she has a Japanese heritage. Her mom's Japanese. She indicates that she's very strong and independent.
Yep.
And she has no relationship with her biological father.
Yeah. And then Ben is the mama's boy.
Right.
And he says this to me is kind of a red flag, because he says that he compares every woman to his mother.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yes. Granted, naturally, children, they look for stuff they see in their parents, right? Obviously, the best or good stuff.
Right.
And he really admires everything that his mom has done.
Yes.
But he has to realize the woman in his life is never going to be his mother in the sense of all the things she had to go through to take care of him. Now, as long as he appreciates that there's going to be some, I guess, characteristics or attributes, but he's not going to find everything, right? Nor is he going to be mothered. Hopefully he doesn't want to be mothered either. So, but we'll see as it goes along, because the man don't like to turn on the AC.
Yeah, he lives in San Diego, which has good weather, right? Times we visit is good weather, right?
It's pretty decent weather. But
he does it. He's like, I don't turn on air. I don't turn on heat. I just open and close windows.
Because he's very frugal.
Frugal.
And with that being said, I get that, but there has to be a balance, right? I'm assuming he has friends, and when he goes out, he buys at least, one drink, or does he share food off of somebody else's plate? Like, so when you're talking about being in a relationship and all his friends are in a relationship, and they kept telling him, like, you're going to have to take her out. She's going to want, like a gift. He's like, I'm going to buy her stocks. I'm going to get her some Bitcoin.
Yeah, for her birthdays, I'm getting her stock. I'm getting her Bitcoin. Dude,
okay.
You're not going to be around too long.
Obviously, you wear clothes.
But here's the thing. We go from one extreme last season of what was his name? Steve, who had money. Wasn't telling folks about his money.
Right.
Was like, I'm going to go ahead and take care of stuff.
Right.
To this guy who is like, I have money, but I ain't sharing it.
Right. I'm going to tell you that I got it in stocks and Bitcoin. I'm going to tell you I'm an engineer. I work a job.
Right.
But I ain't spending nothing.
My money,
not a dime. I don't even know did he pick out a ring? We didn't even see him pick a ring out.
Yeah, that's good.
So when thing was free, he wouldn't even take it. So, yeah, I am concerned about that. He said he is going to talk about his wife about financing.
Yeah.
He has to bend. He says that Pastor Cal told him that he needs to be more flexible.
He got to make some adjustments.
He has to make some adjustments.
All right. So now we also have Stacia and Nate.
Yeah,
Stacia?
No. Stacia.
I look at it and pronounce it Stacia, but it's Stacia.
Okay, Stacia.
I think Stacia is how it's pronounced.
We'll work on it. This is episode 2.
We'll get it, right.
Please don't put anything in the comments. We are working on names.
We getting it.
You did not name the children. Or the grown adults now.
And Stacia, if you stopping by.
We're working on your name.
We getting it.
I apologize.
All right. She is defined as the boss lady. All right. And so she's telling boss with dollar signs.
Right.
Right. So she's telling her mom, and interesting thing that I found about her was that her mom, I guess, and stepfather were moving from where she had grown up,
right?
And she was like, "No, I'm not leaving my family, my friends, basically."
And the activities she had, she was in volleyball, right?
Stuff.
She was very involved in her high school,
right? So she was like, "I'm going to be emancipated,"
right?
and she did that and lived with one of her teammates.
Right. But then she realized what she was missing out on.
Right.
And having a mother during those seasons of her, time of her life. So.
And she doesn't know her biological dad. And so she wants 2 kids. She also mentions that she's the type of person that will put a man in their place.
Here we go.
Yeah. And remember, because she's the one who on date one is asking what's your credit score.
Right. Again, this is not about putting grown people in their place.
At all.
Now, if they're not treating you right, or there's a certain way you want to be treated, you set expectations.
Right.
And there's a way you can show or tell your mate, like, hey, this is how I want to be treated. But when we're trying to feel like we got to tell somebody like they're 5 to do something, this is where we end up alone. So, again, check out that first episode, because we also give predictions of what we think that's going to happen throughout the season with these couples and where their struggles are. Because I think they all have this perception of, oh, I can't wait to get married, but no one has really evaluated their relationships to figure out why they haven't been proposed to, why they haven't gone through a proposal, or why they are truly alone. Yeah. So this will be interesting.
Yeah. And Nate is described as the hustler with a heart.
Yes.
He was a hustler because he was selling fake Louis bags.
Hey, he was doing anything he can until the police, at least they called him instead of rolled up on him.
Right.
He be like, hello? Oh, San Diego police? Oh, those bags I got? Get rid of them? Like, don't sell them, but get rid of them?
Gotcha.
I'm going to end up in jail? Okay, I got you. Yep. No jail time for me. I'm too pretty to go to jail. Because
he was the guy from what was it, barbershop, where he's rolling up into the barbershop. I got these bags. So
I'm like, I wonder how many bags he had. Start giving them out as gift to women as they date on your first date.
Okay.
Gotta get rid of these bags.
Putting them on Craigslist for free.
Right.
So he says he's ready now. He's the one that is kind of superficial, or has been superficial.
Correct. That's what
by his own admission, kind of what he's been looking for, what have you.
Right. In the past,
right.
Right.
So he tells his friends.
Right. He tells his friends, and they're like, oh, wow, okay. I feel like he stated that he did share with them as well that he was going to go through the process. It's funny. These people who've been hoeing for years, they be like, I'm just going to cut the spout off, and I'm just going to decide to stay with one person. My hoeing days are over.
And I just have a question if one of the girls that he told, if they were actually, connected before. Just a vibe I get.
It's possible, right? We couldn't make up, but we turned out to be good friends,
With benefits.
With benefits. So, but we'll see. But I always find it interesting. It's just like, that was my young days. Now I'm older, mature. And I think becomes a point where you decide that having multiple partners is not fulfilling anymore, right?
Right.
And so now that he wants to have a stable relationship, he wants to have one person that he's coming home to that has the ambition that he has, the entrepreneur spirit. And I feel like she has those qualities if she doesn't be a man-eater.
Like I said before, she's going to eat him alive, but that's just my thoughts.
Remember the song?
Yes. It was Hall & Oates. I know the song you're talking about. All right. So, but he's also deleted all of his apps, which is a good thing, as we found out last season.
Yep, he got rid of them early. He better check one more time before he goes.
All the way over. Make sure you have nothing.
Nothing on that last page, man.
All right.
But good for him.
Yep. So that's all of the participants, right? So now, which I like the fact that they do this, because they didn't do it in the very early seasons.
Correct.
But all the participants meet. So all the ladies meet meet each other.
Correct.
All the guys meet each other. Typical, hey, how you doing? Getting to know you.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're going through this experience together. Nobody knows what we're going through except us. Da, da, da. So then they start talking about red flags. And Kristen starts describing her red flag, which
turns out to be Mitch.
Right.
I was like,
she's like, this is my red flag. And we're sitting there like,
ooh.
That's Mitch. Because she says that she's worried about guys in their mid to late 40s who've never been in love. That's Mitch. So yeah, her red flag is basically her match.
Right. And in there, 41, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, oh my God. So hopefully she doesn't freak out.
Right.
Because she's going to need to allow him to explain. Because again, is it a red flag, or it just depends on the person and what they decided to do. She says she wants someone that's passionate about his career.
Right.
He indicates that he was passionate about his career, and he put off on seeking a long-term partner or working through having a long-term partner. So hopefully she'll allow him to explain why he was so late in life to decide that marriage was important.
Because there is a difference between being in your 40s and never been in love because you hold around, and because there's a difference between that and because you were focused on career.
Right. And there's a lot of people nowadays that wait later in life to find love and get married. So,
and then Morgan starts talking about her deal breakers. And one of the things that was mentioned was a husband that would rather save than go on a trip.
Yeah.
And she's matched with Ben.
Yeah.
Who is like, we don't need to take trips. And dates, we can go hiking.
Right. So again, is it a red flag, or is it just something that you
got to work through?
Or it's just something that you prefer. I prefer him not to be as frugal, right? So we'll see. Again, there has to be a balance.
Right.
You don't come in a marriage and saying, okay, you're going to do everything I ever dreamed of and thought of, because that's not reality.
True. And then Alexis is like, I'm feeling everybody except Lindy. Lindy is the epitome, or the what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, she is the Run DMC song. You talk too much, and you never shut up. I said you talk too much.
So, Alexis, she does say she talks too much, but she says, I think
she's self-aware.
She's self-aware of when she needs to, I need to let people to interject. Where again, Lindsay's been sheltered, right? I don't even know how many, if she had any family members, if she had any siblings.
Because Lindy did say that she had graduated from 8th grade with one other person.
Right.
Now listen, I went to a small private school
in
Chicago. Yeah, because I thought, my 8th grade graduating class and even my high school graduating class was like 73 people. It was a small private high school, right?
Right.
And I was like that small. I couldn't imagine, because if you get in an argument with your classmate, who do you hang out with at lunch? Who do you go to recess with? Right?
She did all the talking. The other little girl never talked. So she didn't say how many boys were there.
No, she said it was just one other. It was just her and one other person.
Oh, and it was a girl.
Her graduating class was 2.
Oh God,
and she was one of them.
So socially, it turns out that it sounds like she comes off awkward.
Right.
So, and you would think some of that may have worn off because she's in her late 20s.
Yeah.
So, it's concerning that some of the stuff she sees, she acts like it's really the first time.
Right.
At that age.
Like she literally just left the compound 3 days ago.
Right. Right. So, it's like her timeline.
We're joking. We're not saying that the SDA is a cult. Hear me. Let me say that.
Right.
But it's like she's giving
red flags that it was. That's what she's saying. Because we're just going off of what she's informing us.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's where we're laying all our experience based off of what she's telling us.
Right.
So, but I think Alexis was just really kind of open about wanting to have a good experience about the relationship.
Yes. You mean Lindy?
No, because we were talking about Alexis.
Yes.
And Alexis, only thing they mentioned is how she felt about
Lindy. And she was trying to be diplomatic.
Right.
But
originally.
the producers were like, nope, tell us how you really feel.
Just like she talks about.
She talks too much. All right. And then on the guy side, they seem to all be good. There was, kind of looking at just being 6'8", being ideally who would be good for volleyball, but
he's not athletic.
No, he's not.
And so that's what they were getting at. Like, wow, someone's going to get a very tall husband, but he's not very athletic.
Right.
So.
Right.
And people will make assumptions of that because of your height.
Right.
Because he does say that people just push them into basketball.
And he was like, oh, the NBA does take work to get to. I can't just be 6'8" and automatically get there.
No.
Yeah, brother. There's a lot of 6'8" people that
did not make it. They're still trying to make it.
Yep. All right. So then we have the dress shopping and the suit shopping for the participants. So Alexis and Justin are doing theirs.
Correct.
Alexis is finding the dress that fits her, and I think she found a dress that fits her. I think she found a dress that.
Yeah, I think all the ladies, pretty much found something that worked well for who they're in.
Stacia's it worked, but it didn't. It seemed like and we talked about it. It seemed like it was just a slightly different version of the first dress she tried on that she didn't like. So,
right, but she was happy.
Yep. Justin found him a great suit.
Yeah.
Nate found him a great suit.
Yeah.
And again, Justin is having the conversation with his brothers, like, yeah, I don't know about this. So then we get to the Bachelor and Bachelorette party. And Justin's brother is essentially like, you're not ready to get married.
Right.
And Justin's like, look, I'm 33 years old. I don't need you chastising me over this decision.
Right. Because his brother describes marriage as being on parole, being handcuffed. I've never heard so many negative things.
And he's married.
From a married man.
Right.
Because you ain't ready for this.
If that's your marriage, if that's how you perceive marriage, then I question how your marriage is.
Right. I'm like, bro, you are saying you married, right? And I get what he's going with, very extreme narrative, right? But those are the things you want to share with your spouse because you're not alone, right? Like, I like telling you where I'm going because it helps me feel safe. Like if something happens, I know that you will call, make sure I'm good. Or if you need to find me, you start looking for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know if you want to take advice from your brother. Yeah. Is this the road he's going down? But everyone else seemed to be having a really good time.
Well, because Justin was like, strippers don't do anything for me. He's like, I'd rather connect with the woman.
Emotionally and intelligently.
Nate, on the other hand.
Yeah. Nate was like, I still got a little hole in me. Just a little enough for tonight. That anything that I've been wanting to get out right before the wedding, I need to do it right now.
Nate thought he was at King of Diamonds and Magic City. He was just...
he was enjoying himself. He was having him a ball.
To the point, Mitch was like, dude.
Mitch opened his mouth like, I think I'm going to have to wash my eyes.
Okay.
I'm going to have to wash my eyes. And Ben was on the other side like, I can't believe this. Hey.
Ben was looking at them dollars. He was like, look, if we're going to drop these dollars, let me pick them up.
Look.
This could buy me some ramen for the next 3 months.
Right. Because he did offer shots.
He did.
He said, this is the only time, I'm going to make this very clear to you guys. We're going to meet a lot throughout this process.
I'm going to take care of it now.
I'm going to take care of it right now.
But these next 8 weeks, y'all figure that out for yourselves.
Don't ask who's paying.
Because I'm going to be sitting over here sipping water with lemon.
Don't ask who's paying.
And equal.
And if there's a coupon for the Applebee's, yeah.
I'm going to get the 2 for $25. And that's going to last me for 3 weeks. Yep. That's how Ben operating. Because we did see Ben clipping coupons. And listen.
On his bed, clipping coupons.
In this economy, I definitely get it.
In San Diego, that milk is $10.
Listen.
That milk go by the ounce.
Okay.
They charge by the ounce.
Listen. So then we start to get to the wedding.
Right. Because did we talk about the women's bachelor?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they were pretty tame for the most part. Morgan, she thought that she makes some extra dollars before she met her future husband.
Yes.
And she wanted to make sure, that she had her partying out. And they were a little surprised, for the nurse to be very, just enjoying her time.
Right.
And like, hey, I'm getting married. I want to enjoy my time, have a good time. I'm glad no one was overly drunk that we see. And again, I see that they're trying to set up between
Lindy and Alexis.
And we haven't heard Lindy say anything bad about
He just, with the way that Alexis and her friend were interacting when Alexis was on the pole. That sounds bad, but yes.
Well,
they were on the pole, right?
Right.
But the way her friend was kind of interacting with her.
Right.
Lindy was like, oh my God.
This is what we talk about. Like, she's never seen anybody twerking before or someone getting slapped on the butt before.
Right.
I'm like, my understanding is that you kind of had a wild side now that you're on your own, an individual person.
Yeah.
But I guess not. I don't know.
Right.
But we'll see.
We'll see. All right. So then, yes, Justin and Alexis are the first up to get married.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so Alexis it's hitting her, right?
Hitting her. I thought she was going to need some, what is it, Annex? What is it?
Xanax. Yeah.
She was, oh man.
Because
she was holding it.
She was okay. She was kind of okay. And then her mom showed up and she was just like,
you think her husband had died before he got to the altar. I was like, is she really okay? Like, I mean, she was looking in the mirror at herself. And for whatever reason, it's just like this. It seems like I'm not worthy of marriage. I'm not worthy of getting married.
Yeah.
Or could she be a good wife? It's like I'm trying to understand
her mindset.
Yeah, her mindset about how she feel about herself when, talking about being committed to someone else.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to kind of see how her journey goes.
Yeah.
With her new husband.
Yeah. And him on the other side.
Go
ahead.
We got to mention that she does get gassy.
Yes.
She did share that. So just so you know, through this season, if we hear some sounds that they make, or maybe they'll edit it.
Hopefully they'll edit it. Please edit it.
But
please do.
She does get gassy.
Yes.
Thought that was interesting.
Justin is there with his best friends, right?
Right.
And he's like, it hit me. I think he threw up too, didn't he?
He threw up, yes, the night before.
The day before, yeah.
Yeah. Because he was like, oh my God, I'm getting married. And just overly excited and nervous.
Yes.
He does mention the day of his wedding that him and his brother chopped it up.
Yes.
And came to agreement, and his brother apologized.
Right.
So it was good to hear. At this time, you need family more. And I think that's where I'm always concerned, where family is so emotionally involved to the point that they only see their pain,
right,
and not what their family's going.
Family needs, right.
Right. So it's good that his brother really did step up and say, I'm going to be here for you. You're going to need me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
they do have the wedding. And they seem to have a good chemistry.
Right. Now, she was like, they over-delivered on the tall side.
Because she was like 6'1", 6'2", 6'3".
She just wants someone taller than her.
6'5", 6'8". What?
And so she did indicate like he's not really her type.
Her physical or attracted, the type that she's attracted to.
Right. So, but as they were talking and she was listening to the vows, she understood. She said she understood why the matchmakers.
So I think that they are a good match.
Oh, I think so.
I think they're a good match. As always, there's going to be things that they're going to have to work through and try to figure out.
Yes.
I think if they keep the same energy that they have now, it'll be a lot better experience for them.
Right. So, but we'll see, right? We don't know how sexually active she is. And does he want to wait 8 weeks? Or does he feel now comfortable to release that? Yeah. So that could be some energy that might need some shifting there too. I think we'll see how well they balance each other, because since she's a lot of high energy, how well he calms her.
Yes.
Because he indicates that he communicates very well. And he really likes what he sees.
Mm-hmm.
He thanked the Lord.
Yeah,
his Lord and
she
Savior.
rounds that corner. He's like, Jesus. It's like, oh my God.
Yes, yes, yes. I thought he was going to go into a full dance. But since he is very happy, I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm always excited. I never wish the worst for anyone.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So, so that was pretty much it. They do, talk. She's like, okay, bruh, no more high fives. We high five like 3 times in the wedding. We've sat here, we've high fived 4 times. Cut out on the high fives.
Well, and this is where she's going to have to navigate some of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because even though he might be initiating some of that, she's happily accepting that. And we see they actually chest bump.
Yes.
Also. So she has to make sure she doesn't put him in the friend zone.
Right.
And he needs to make sure that he's treating her like
a spouse.
Because at the early beginning, when you don't know them, you're trying to find some way to connect.
Right.
And find commonality. But at the same time, this is someone you're romantic with. We do not chest bump. Now, we might occasionally do a high five, but there is no chest bumping going on around here.
No.
So finding ways, if he wants to connect, like we're dudes, finding other ways to connect as husband and wife.
And I mean, in his defense, I'll say that it's probably, like you said, kind of his way of trying to find connection, trying to at least create
nervous
touch.
energy.
Well, also create touch too. He did ask if he could kiss her.
Yes.
And there wasn't just a peck, right? There was a
little linger there.
Right.
But again, when you're nervous, you're trying to do stuff that makes you comfortable.
Right.
And when it should have been more like, okay, let me embrace you or something. Right. Not a chest bump.
Not a chest bump.
From a 6'8" to a 5'10" woman.
Right.
Even though she's thinking that she can handle it, right?
Yeah,
she ain't thin to her, so.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see. So that's it for this one. We see the other weddings happening as we move forward. So we'll see. Again, make sure you're locked in. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. Hit the like, request your notifications.
Share.
Yes, I take that from her this time. All right. Because yes, we will always, every week, we're going to give our updates as far as where we think couples are, kind of as we're trending, whether or not we think they'll stick together, and we'll go from there. All right, and then we have our new experts that'll be popping in too.
Yes.
On this season, so it'll be interesting to watch. All right.
So let's have our conversation in the comments.
See y'all in the comments. All right. See y'all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.